Hey everyone, it's Kellen from Racetrack again with another race examination video. This time we're talking about the 2020 Ironman National, and I wanted to start off talking about this video about Dylan Ferrandis and his inside gate selection, which he used in both motos. In the first moto, it worked to his advantage. He got up along the grass, was able to get some good traction, and grab the whole shot in this first moto. But it didn't work in the second moto very well for him because he got a little bit boxed out pretty quickly. As you can see here, as the gate drops, you can see he's a little bit behind where he was before, and as he tries to put the power down, he gets boxed out, he gets kind of shuffled up behind everybody, and then suddenly Ferrandis has disappeared. So what happened to him? Well, when they cut back to him, you see that Ferrandis is down with his teammate Shane McElrath in the first corner, and as Ferrandis gets going and on his way, he is way down the field. Now, what was interesting about this is the comments Ferrandis had about this after the race.
The crash, I mean, it's no problem. I mean, I also crashed sometime at start alone, and that's happened. But I was more frustrated about what he did in a straightaway. Like, I didn't understand why he went on the right and blocked me instead of open the corner and try to grab the hard shot. So that's something we would have to discuss together. And I think we were both not happy about the result, so it was not a good time to talk. And
so what he's talking about, obviously, is he believed his teammate Shane McElrath was boxing him out on the start and focusing more on him and not getting Ferrandis to have a good start than McElrath was on getting himself a good start. Just a really interesting key insight to the team turmoil perhaps in the truck there, and Ferrandis just being very honest and open about the situation on his thoughts on what happened. I want to remind everybody that this video is presented by onX Off-Road. Nowhere to go with the #1 off-road GPS app. Access 400,000 plus miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Download the onX Off-Road app today. Now, sticking with the theme of starts, reversing back to this 450 Moto #1 start, talking about Justin Bogle's wild ride into this first corner. And I just kind of wanted to slow this down again and talk about it because I don't know how so many people, first of all, missed Bogle, and second of all, Bogle was able to get back up and continue on in this race because this was a wild ride for sure, as Bogle kind of lays the front end down into the corner. It high sides him over and then pitches his bike up, and it actually hits the tree. It's actually a pretty similar crash, if anybody remembers this one, of Justin Barcia crashing in front of Marvin Musquin back in 2011 at Freestone. And in this situation, Bogle crashing in front of another foreign rider, Max Anstey, having a close call, but that tree taking the brunt of Bogle's bike. A wild ride for sure, and a crazy moment from the race. Later on in that moto, though, there was this moment where Zach Osborne came up to lap Dalton Dyer and made contact with him and went down, and Adam Cianciarulo kind of hops over his bike. Chase Sexton splits the difference, but here's what Osborne had to say about the contact after the race.
But at the end of the day, that was on me. I thought I was plenty clear, going fast enough to clear the gap before we got to the corner, and we just connected in the corner, and that was it.
I just thought that was cool there that Osborne owned up to it as his fault instead of Dalton's there, because in that situation, very easily he could have been very mad about the contact with the lap driver, but he owned up to it. Very nicely done. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to see SwapMotoLive.com's Michael Antonovich crossing the track between motos, and the nice guy that he is, he decides he's going to fix the track a little bit under the bridge here. Anton, always being such a good dude. So here's something I keyed into in this second 450 moto battle between Eli Tomac and Justin Barcia, was this little tricky double that they were doing heading under the bridge here in the back section. And you can see Eli Tomac doing it here on lap 13. Smooth as butter, really technical line, and really cool to see when they get it right. But sometimes Tomac couldn't get it very consistently, and this would be a spot where Justin Barcia was gaining time here and there as he does it here on lap 14. Tomac is not able to get the double very cleanly. Barcia does it behind him and closes right up. And I wanted to key in on this because I just wanted to show how this little section of the track on a 2-minute lap time track can make a big difference as we look at Eli Tomac's 13th lap and 14th lap side by side in the timer start. Once he gets to the end, once he gets the double clean, it is 0.6 gained on what he does on lap 14, and Barcia gaining some time there, which Tomac did a 1.3 second faster lap on lap 13 than on lap 14. So that is almost half of the time gained on that one little section alone. Just really cool nuanced details there, and a tricky line that those guys were doing. Now, similar to that is line selection while in a battle, and I wanted to give a little bit of props here to Adam Cianciarulo, who spent basically 3 corners setting up this pass that he made on Zach Osborne for the lead in the second motos. He goes to the outside here, out of the second corner, just drag races him to the other corner here, carries a lot of speed to this outside line and makes the pass on Zach Osborne as they head into the next section. But this pass all started with the line that Cianciarulo took 3 corners before he even made the pass. And as we go back here, you can see he just skips the far inside rut that Zacho takes and goes all the way out to the mechanics area. And as he cuts back, he kind of uses this roller as like a berm and cuts far to the inside, doesn't even hit any rut. He's just on basically flat ground there, but powers up alongside of Zacho and ends up making the pass in the end. Really cool there by Cianciarulo. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't feel like it was talked about enough from this round, was Justin Barcia's ridiculous whip scrub pass on Adam Cianciarulo for second place late in the moto as him and Tomac were moving forward. Barcia goes to scrub this jump, his leg kicks off, and then he's trying to get it back on, finally pulls the bike back to the ground, and then almost stalls it coming into this next corner because he almost out-drags himself. Now, Barcia said that he scrubbed it so hard it kicked his foot off the bike, but what's crazy is that when you look at this in slow motion, his foot pretty much didn't even get back onto the bike by the time he landed. That's how far he had thrown it and how much he was dangling it out. Classic Barcia style. Always really cool to see him throw it out there, and looking forward to seeing more what he can do as we head to the Redbuds this weekend. Redbud 1 and 2 coming up.